break the needle.
No, not yet.
You know what? Are you a 90-pound weakling? Because the needle's gonna break right off.
No,
By the way, the
because,
person gave
you
me
know,
CA.
they told me before that,
He put the bandage.
people were getting them, but they weren't ready. So plus,
He didn't even know.
I'm not 65, but I do have a lot to my job, just so I'm going to.
Okay, what do we got?
Hello.
Is this?
Shabbat shalom. Better, thank you. I'm gonna sit back here.
Good, good to see you.
Thank you.
You found the spot.
Yeah, I don't have my camera.
Rabbi said not to give announcements, so we must be
Okay.
here. So you give your own announcements today.
Yes.
All right, no substitutes.
Oh, I don't have them.
How are you? Good.
Hey, Zem, it's a good thing you did that.
It was beautiful. Good.
What?
Good thing you did that phone tree reminding us.
Oh, of
I
course.
forgot.
When did you get back in town? Were you just there for
I
the
wouldn't
weekend,
either,
or
But I knew that.
when did you come back? Like,
Pardon?
when did you get back into town?
I got back on Sunday evening.
Oh, so it's just a weekend thing?
Yeah,
Okay. That's nice.
Yeah.
Rabbi, do you have extra books, the ones that tell us what we do on each Shabbat and every holiday? Do you have?
Just talking about, do you have, cause I don't know, the one from here disappeared.
Yeah, no, I don't have any extra.
Yeah, I told you, I'll just give you mine then.
Well, I mean, I have one at home, but we used to have one just on the Bima, you know, for Hagbai, Galila, for the
And
Kappa.
who would take it? I mean,
I don't know.
So you don't think about those things. You just, how did this book wind up in my house? I have no idea.
It's no big deal.
It's a subconscious thing. Ariel, good to see you. Yeah. All right. Okay. So what we're starting with is after page what, 22, 23?
yeah.
It didn't take, we couldn't reuse our It's so like, the spider test to me is the hardest.
So why didn't they do the other one? How silly.
They did, but that's after the.
So you said it's November what?
This is what it's like being a 12th grade
Oh,
teacher
okay.
at Little High School.
Yeah,
Being
yeah,
a what?
yeah.
Public school?
A 12th grade teacher at Little High School, it's just like.
It's a lot like this,
People, it's time to start the lesson.
What?
right.
I haven't.
And you're waiting for that gap so you can say, okay, we're starting, and it doesn't happen.
Okay, let's begin the lesson.
Okay. Well, because it's holiday, we don't have Kabbalat Shabbat tonight. Sorry. Well, you get to hear Hallel tomorrow, though.
Yay!
Okay, but we do start on page,
34, right?
we start on page 23.
Oh my God, my book was right open to page 23.
There you go.
It's Beshert.
Why don't we just, we can sing the top and the bottom of this. Why not?
Yeah, 'cause why not? We got the time.
Yep. Mizmor shirli
Yom
yom
HaShabbat
HaShabbat
Tov,
tov
lehodo, lehodo l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon,
ulezamer
l'shimcha elyon. Mizmor shirli Yom HaShabbat Tov, lehodo, lehodo l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, l'shimcha elyon, lehagi b'boker aztecha, ימנתך בלילות, עלי אסור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור. מזמור שיר לי יום השבת טוב להודות, השבת טוב לזמר, אדוני ולזמר עליון. Four lines from the bottom. צדיק אתה אמר יברח, כי ארז בלבנון יסגש שתולים בבית אדוני וחצרות אלוהינו יבריחו 24 we'll read responsively. On the left side, Psalm 93. Adonai is sovereign, crowned with splendor. Adonai reigns, robed in strength.
You set the earth on a sure foundation, created a world that stands firm.
Your kingdom stands from earliest time. You are eternal.
The rivers may rise and rage, the waters may pound and pulsate, the floods may swirl and storm.
Yet above the crash of the sea and its mighty breakers is Adonai, our God, supreme.
Your decrees, Adonai, never fail. Holiness befits your house.
And we're down one.
Is anyone outside coming?
Was there anybody out there?
You open up the ark and let the jars go be number 10?
I don't do that. And I'll tell you why. Those customs, like having a child with holding a chumash or opening the ark and having a Torah be the 10th person, those were started in towns, little shtetls and shtiblock, that didn't have 10 men. And we have 10 men in the congregation. Well, okay, we count everybody, you're right, but
Okay.
that they didn't. That's, dreamers. Yeah. Well, it's not too late to make a phone call. Sort of like you
We'll
want to
wait,
be
we can wait.
you want to be a millionaire, like an outside helpline,
Maybe they have that in Israel, maybe. Maybe they have that in Israel or New York.
What's that?
1-800-MINION.
Yeah, right. You don't need it. You go out on the street, say, hey, we need you for a minion. Oh, I already davened. Really, when? 1967.
Yeah.
I still recall walking the streets of Jerusalem and people are out of their little shtiblock
Yep.
pulling in a minion.
Oh, yeah.
They could barely get it, but they're pretty sure that people walking by are
Yeah.
Jewish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's sort of like in America, you have a church on every street corner. And in Jerusalem, you have a shul on every street corner.
If you go down south, they're all First Baptist.
How do they all get to be first?
When my son was living in Oakland, he would ride the bike to his work, and on the way, the Chabad grabbed him and needed 10 men.
How would they know he was Jewish?
I don't know, but that's where, that was David.
Oh, okay.
That was David.
Oh,
That's funny. So what do you tell whoever was going? So sorry, I'm late. I had to do a mincha mariv. What?
I was at McDonald's and one of the Chabad rabbis drove up and I'm in one of the tables outside. So he needed directions to get to. So it comes over to me, I'm out there. And I'm wearing this retired from the army hat. And he gets the direction, he says, oh, by the way, are you Jewish? Well, of course, anybody who can get that saying retired army.
it's the most obvious thing.
But I'll tell you what he did. Chabad does this. When I affirmed it, his comment to me is, did you put on the film today?
Right, that's what they do. That's exactly what they do.
I said, I forgot to do it today. Forgot? To which he said, would you mind putting it on? Of course I would. Not mine, but I would.
Yeah.
So I did, I put it on, and as a little reward, he gave me a bottle of honey.
Oh,
That was just before Rosh Hashanah.
Oh, I thought I was going to say I gave you 2 for 1 at McDonald's.
Interesting that he was hanging outside of McDonald's.
Oh, okay. Okay, Jewish.
That's when
Well, sure wouldn't be here.
Remember you told me in Jerusalem they have like a sukkah on wheels or something like that?
Well, I guess.
They were cruising around for people could like bench the love.
I think Chabad has that.
Oh. Oh, really?
So, yeah,
They bring it to different schools when I was working.
It's a different feel, but Chabad does the same thing in Israel. They'll go up to playgrounds with ice cream cones and things. They're either, molesters or they're Chabad.
what an option.
Just behaviorally speaking. Okay, well, we should begin. I can't count you if you're schizophrenic. I can't count you as two.
Yeah, Chaya.
Dina possibly, but I don't have my phone.
We all do.
No.
There's a way of dealing with that.
Well, she'll be here before, if she does come.
If she's,
before the cottage.
honey, if you're tuning in, send Dina.
The cavalry.
Well, Dina saved a lot of people this year with her vaccine computer savvy.
Oh my God, she's amazing.
So if Kaiser has a third shot, maybe I'll go do that next week.
Yes, did you get yours?
What's that?
Did you get yours?
My booster?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I went to CVS like everyone said.
I sat in the
That's
booster
Pfizer,
seat.
Moderna. So they said go to Rite Aid, which I didn't
Right,
call.
it has Moderna.
Yeah, but I didn't call them because,
I have Moderna.
yeah, at least one near me. So, and they said they don't do Moderna, so they said they go to, Rite Aid, which is where I live, it's across the street.
Hey, by the way, did it rain here? during the
Yeah,
day, in the afternoon?
yeah.
Isn't that funny? I was thinking, Sukkot, hey, come on, we'll sit in the sukkah. It starts to thunderstorm and rain.
Tony, I was in my office, Tony comes in and says, it's raining. What?
Yeah,
When did it rain, Rabbi?
It was earlier in the afternoon.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, just a little, but it rained.
Oh, you did not?
Il pleut.
All right. But your Kaiser members? No. No, okay.
So your niece got married, right? Was your niece who got married?
It was my niece.
Right. Your brother's granddaughter.
So it'd be your great niece.
Daughter or granddaughter? Your brother's daughter?
Brother's daughter.
Oh, it was your niece, okay.
It was your niece.
Yeah.
First
How was the
wedding?
weather out there? Was it hot?
Pardon?
Was it really hot out there?
No, it was very, very nice.
Where was it?
It was in Sun Valley, Idaho. It's got
Oh,
a
yeah.
beautiful home, I mean, right on the golf course, and there were elk, out there.
And there were koalas and lions.
It's just gorgeous.
So was a lot of family there? Did you see a lot of family?
Yeah.
Well,
That's
that's nice.
nice.
They all
That's
came?
that's nice.
Well, that's nice.
They came from far, yeah. Ellen, my daughter, went with me.
Yeah, that's nice. I once went to a wedding with my father. Similar situation. His sister's grandson got married. This is March of 2017. It was in New York, a place, if anyone who knows New York, it's called Frog's Neck, New York. It's like some like little part of like Queens or one of the boroughs or something like that. I don't think it was Queens. But anyway, there's still snow on the ground. This is March 2017. There's still, I mean, not much, but you could see it, which is kind of cool for me. And the wedding was like, it was a very frum family. The wedding was probably like on a Tuesday night or something like that. And boy, it was a big shindig. But it was nice because it was the last time my father was with, he was like probably 87 at the time, with all his siblings. He has 4 siblings, and all of them were there, So kind of like a 90, 89, 88, 87, 86 or something like that. I was thinking how Ellen went with you. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
It was, and of course I have a lot of cousins I don't really even know, I have a aunt who's got like 13 kids, and
Oh, my
got
God.
another one who's probably got 12, So I would see people, a guy who's like, 70 years old, my first cousin. I'd never met him before in my life, When I was a little boy and we used to live in Philadelphia, went to New York, I used to think if I saw someone who's kind of from on the subway, I wonder if they were related to me, And I don't mean we're all members of the tribe, I mean literally related to me.
No, Chaya's been doing all the genealogy lately in the house. And she's having cousins that she's never met over to the sukkah this weekend. So,
Oh, who is that?
my wife.
Oh, wow, yeah, yeah.
My cousin was doing genealogy for her grandfather, and because she lives in Long Island, found all these different cousins in the, either New Jersey, New York area, and, well, she grew up in Brooklyn. And then we did a Zoom meeting, so I got to meet all these distant cousins that I never would have, if we didn't have Zoom, it was great. So,
It's pretty neat because you go back a couple of generations and
yeah,
siblings grew up in Europe and they just scattered before the World War. One ended up in Brazil, another one's in Israel, one's in America. So you have like
Yeah.
grandchildren of the, the matriarch, the patriarch, speaking Portuguese, English, Hebrew, but they're all, it's like, it's because of circumstances, it's wild, like, when you think about that.
Lou's on his way, so we're gonna have a meeting.
Oh, Lou's coming? Awesome.
Was he nearby?
3 minutes, he said 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So he's not at home.
Lou,
Lou Abramovich?
yeah.
I don't know, I overheard a conversation, I was just overhearing, so I don't know.
You did not make the call yourself.
I did not make one. I was just listening to other people's conversations.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind, thank you.
Okay, well,
We are going to be wealthy in a million soon because Lou and Clan are,
Oh, no, not the whole clan.
will have a region.
Yeah, we don't take care of it.
Yay. The whole clan.
Yes.
The whole Hamula.
The whole Hamur,
Hamula,
Hamula.
yeah.
What's Hamula?
Clan.
In what language?
I think it's Arabic.
Why don't you tell us a joke?
Rabbi
Sukkot-
minister,
Sukkot joke.
Yeah, get one set up like that, yeah.
You know, your joke that, that you told that I repeat quite a bit is about, the two baseball players and one of them passes away. And the other one says, before he passes away, he goes, can you tell me if there's baseball in heaven?
Yeah, I told it as a golf joke, but yeah.
What's the punchline?
No, you,
The one of them dies, and he does get in touch with the other one, and he says, great news, there is baseball in heaven, but there is some bad news. What's that? You're pitching Thursday.
yeah, no, I've told that joke quite a few times. I've never heard it told as a golf joke. though.
I've mostly heard it told.
What do they say, you're teeing up on Thursday?
Yeah, you tee up, your tee's at
Baseball is better.
8:15 Thursday morning.
Yeah.
I heard that, yeah.
So you think we don't listen to you, Rabbi, but we do
So
listen.
now that's.
Oh, that means I gotta be more careful.
But I love what you retained.
Yeah, I retain
You
the
retained
baseball
the joke
joke.
about baseball.
That's okay, I mean, it still puts a smile on your face, that's all
There
right.
you go. But you live it up.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to the Angels game Sunday. It's the last one.
Well, that's the fan appreciation day or something?
I don't know, but it's the last home game
Oh, okay.
for the season.
Are you going with a group of people?
One group of 100.
The Angels, man, they just,
They don't get that pitching is the name of the game. It's pitching.
Pitching, you're right,
Pitching.
yeah, yeah.
Stop already.
and get on base.
Well, Mike Trout was out the whole season, right? I mean, never,
Yeah, he's always out the whole season. He's injured a lot.
So, that's why, yeah, that's why she's like, so.
yeah.
Okay.
Ah,
So when I spoke with Lou 3 minutes ago, he said he'd be here in a few minutes.
No.
So I expect him to be
Maybe he's hunting for a parking spot.
Yeah. Hey, a few weeks ago, we did have a problem.
yeah,
Oh, really?
Remember, September,
they had,
Oh,
it was,
that's right,
on- it was on Kol Nidre night, and it was, and Colleen, you know, the guy who does our tech, it was his grandfather's memorial service. And so like the entire congregation, you know, gathered for the memorial. And I, you know, like I'm thinking memorial service after 30 days or a year. No, I think he just died.
Like that day? Or 2 days?
No, they don't do things that quick.
no, it's like the funeral.
It was the,
Oh,
yeah,
Oh, yeah, okay.
Like probably within a week or something.
yeah. I mean, we are the people who get things, that get bodies in the grave as quick as possible.
Yeah.
I have stories about that.
Well, we have time, you can tell one, I guess.
Nah, it'd ruin the mood for everybody.
So the end of the baseball season then is this weekend? They start the playoffs next week?
No,
No,
no.
it's the last home game,
Oh, they got to, oh,
Last home game.
so there'll be
Oh, I see.
So when's the season end?
Here comes some.
When does the season end?
Yeah.
End of September, oh, no, very end of September.
There you go.
Hey.
We're waiting.
We're on page 24. Person.
Before we had it,
I think it was, I can't remember who wrote the play, but there
We
was,
saved your seat for you.
there's a play called The 10th Man. Back in the 30s, and Harpo Marx played the 10th Man.
what was it about a minute?
It was about a minion, yeah.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Yeah? Interesting.
We'll have to Google
There
it.
was a movie like that, I think.
The 10th man.
Was it a movie, right?
Well, it was a play at first. A lot of the Marx Brothers stuff was plays. It wasn't a funny play either, but Harpo was the 10th Man. That's what I'm recalling.
Okay, do we stand up now?
No, you can, I'm standing up because I was sitting so long. But we're on page 24. You can stand up if, yeah, actually you do stand up. And Bernie, and if you're in mourning or observing a yurt site. Page 24. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
Bilma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei l'chol beit Yisrael. B'agala v'zman kari v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mivorach li'olam ulomei omaya. Yitbarak v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei l'kudsha b'richu. Li'ela min kol berchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiron mi'oma v'yimru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom ramav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Now we continue over on page. We're on page 28. Please rise for the Baruch if it's comfortable for you.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
And please join me. Let's read the poem under the line on the left side of page 28. Light and darkness, night and day, we marvel at the mysteries of stars.
Moon and sky, sand and sea, we marvel at the mystery of sun.
Twilight, high noon, dusk, and dawn, though we are mortal, we are creation's crown.
Flesh and bone, steel and stone, we dwell in fragile, temporary shelters.
Grant steadfast love, compassion, grace, sustain us, O God, our origin is dust.
Majesty, mercy, love endure, we are but little lower than the angels.
Resplendent skies, sunset, sunrise, the grandeur of creation lifts our lives.
Evening darkness, morning dawn, in our lives. Mavi yom mehivi laila, mabdil b'nem u'bein laila. Adonai tzvaot shemo Elohai, v'kayam tamidim lo chalenu elam va'ed. Baruch Adonai, ha'ma'arim ravim.
We continue with the second blessing before the Shema on page 29, Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amcha avda Torah mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otan lima lida Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shalvenu v'kulmeinu naseach b'chukecha Ahavat olam v'nismach b'divrei Torah u'v'mitzvotecha li'olam va'ed Ki hem chayenu v'yorech yameinu U'vahem nege yomam b'layla Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amcha avda Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otan limad eda Hakein Adonai Eloheinu
B'shach v'yitnu v'kumenu, naseach b'chukecha, ahavat olam, v'yahavatecha, hadazir mimenu li'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai.
Baruch hu Baruch Shemo.
Oh, Hiva Hamo Yisrael, oh, Hiva Hamo Yisrael.
Amen.
Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, ahavdat Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otam limadetam. Hakin Adonai Eloheinu, b'shach beinu v'kumenu, naseach b'chukecha, ahavat olam.
Page 30 is the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'yahaveta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavecha, b'chol nafshecha, v'chol me'odecha, v'hayu advarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavecha, hayom al levavecha, v'shina adam levanecha, v'di b'hartavam, v'shivdecha b'beitecha, v'lechlecha avaderech, v'shachbecha u'v'kumecha, v'kashartam le'od al yadecha, v'yudadav od minecha, v'chidavdam, amazudahod beitecha, v'visharecha.
The next two paragraphs to ourselves. V'hayayim Shemot.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Continue on page 32.
V'ra'anav gevurato, shimechu v'hodu lishma. V'ra'anav gevurato, shimechu v'hodu lishma. U'malchuto, v'ratzon kiblu alehem. U'malchuto, v'ratzon kiblu alehem. Moshe, b'nei Yisrael, lechanu shira. Moshe, b'nei Yisrael, b'simcha rabba v'yameru cholam. Michamocha ba'ilim Adonai, Michamocha nedar b'kodesh, Norah dilat, oseh velech. Malchutecha, ra'uvanecha, b'hagei hayam, livnei Moshe, ze'eli, anu v'yamiru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. V'nemar gifad Adonai Yaakov, Galo me'ar chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, God Israel.
We turn to page 33. Let's take a responsive reading out of the middle of the left side of the page. Protect us with your gift of peace by helping us to overcome temptation.
When we are weak, sustain us. When we despair, open our hearts to joy.
Shelter us in your embrace of peace when we are caught by conflict or desire.
When we are torn, heal us. When we are tormented, touch us with tranquility.
Cherish our fragmented lives, make our lives whole again through integrity.
When we deceive, turn us to you. When we corrupt, capture our hearts anew.
Protect us from ourselves. When we falter, help us to conquer the enemy within.
When we blunder, restore us. With compassion, teach us that peace. Ufras aleinu sukkot, sukkot, shelamecha, ufras aleinu sukkot, sukkot, shelamecha, Baruch atah Adonai, haborei sukkot shalom aleinu v'kol amo Yisrael v'Yerushalayim.
If it's comfortable for you, you are invited to rise. Page 34, Vishamru.
V'shamiru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat lidorot abrit olam ve'eni u've'bnei Yisrael oti li'olam kishesh et yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim v'et haaretz Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayi nafas Yidgada Shemei Rabbah
Amen.
V'yalamad yivrach era'udei v'yamelech malchutei v'chayecha v'yomecha v'chayidecha beit Yisrael Ba'agala V'vizman kariv imrel
Amen.
Yesh me'rava mivorach Li'olam lo me'el maya Yidbarach v'ishtabach V'yidbar v'yitram v'yidnaseh v'yidadar V'yidaleh v'yidalal Shemiri kudeshah
Brechu.
Lila mingo birlachata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Da'amiron b'yalma v'imrel Amen.
The Amidah for tonight is said silently and standing from pages 35A or B through page 38. Remember on page 36 to say Ya'aleh v'yavo in honor of Sukkot. Okay. Now that everybody's seated, please rise, page 47.
Bye 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 ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה Yai bidi bidi bye bye bye, yai bidi bidi bye bye bye, yai bidi bidi bye 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 bye, yai bidi bidi bye bye bye, yai bidi bye, yai bidi bye 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 bye. Vayvarech Elohim et Yom HaShvi'i, vayigadesh Odo, kivo shabbat mikol melachto, asher bara Elohim la'asot. Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor HaNorah, El Elyon, Kol Nei Shamayim Va'aretz, Magen Avod B'Divaro, Mechayim Edim B'Mamaro, Magen Avod B'Divaro, Mechayim Edim B'Mamaro. Ha'el HaGadol She'en Kamohu, She'en Kamohu. Ha'mediach Le'amo, B'Yom Shabbat Kodsho, B'Yom Shabbat Kodsho, Shabbat Kodsho, Magen Avod B'Divaro, Mechayim Edim B'Mamaro, Magen Avod B'Divaro, Mechayim Edim B'Mamaro. Kivam,
Kivam,
Ratzah,
Ratzah,
Kivam Ratzah Laniach Lahem, Lefanav, Na'avod, Lefanav Na'avod B'Yir Avavachad, Nodeh, Elishemo, Nodeh Lishmo B'chol Yom Tamid, V'nodeh Lishmo B'chol Yom Tamid Be'in HaBirachot, V'nodeh Lishmo B'chol Yom Tamid Be'in HaBirachot, Magen Avod B'Divaro, Mechayim Edim B'Mamaro, Magen Avod B'Divaro, Mechayim Edim B'Mamaro. Elohim Adonai Shalom, Mikadish HaShabbat, Mevarech Shvi'i, Umeniach Abiginu Shalom, Merusanei Yonei, Zecher Lema'aseh, Vereshit, Magen Avod B'Divaro, Mechayim Edim B'Mamaro, Magen Avod B'Divaro, Mechayim Edim B'Mamaro.
You continue on page 48.
Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Ritzei v'menuchateinu, Kadisheinu b'mitzvotecha, V'dein chelkeinu b'toratecha, Sameinu b'tuvecha, V'samcheinu b'shuvatecha, V'daher libeinu, Le'avdecha b'emet, Ve'hanchilenu, Adonai Eloheinu, B'yava v'razon, Shabbat Kodshecha, V'yanuchu v'Yisrael, V'chai V'kadesh HaShabbat. Yitgada v'yigada shmei Rabba. Hey Almadi v'rachludi v'yamlich machudei. V'chayecha neu v'yom echad. V'chayidachol beit Yisrael b'gala v'zbangari v'yimeru.
Amen.
Yesh me Rabba bevarach le'olam le'olmaya. Yitbarach, 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 V'yishtabach, Yitbarach, Yitamach, V'yinasi, V'yidarav, V'yidalal, Shevede Kudesham, V'yeila Mikol Birchata, Birchata, V'shirata, Tushbechata, V'nechemata, Dami, Me'alema, V'yimeru.
Amen.
Ted kol b'zalot avavod on dechol Yisrael. God of Avon, David, Shmaya, V'yimeru.
Amen.
Yesh Lamara Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu, V'yakol Yisrael, V'yimeru.
Amen.
V'yoseh Shalom B'Imrahamad, V'yaseh Shalom Aleinu, V'yalkol Yisrael, V'yimeru. Amen.
If that doesn't get you to heaven, nothing will.
Knock, knock, knocking.
Okay.
Page 51, Elena.
Yeah, let's do it. Alinu
Take Gdula Liotzer Breishi. Samanu Kamish Bechot Adama Shelo Sam Chalkeinu Kahem Raleinu Kechol Amona Vanachnu Korim Tapavim Modim Lifnei Melech HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shamayim v'yoser haaretz V'shamayim ima'al sh'kinarzo Hey miromim Hu Eloheinu Eino Demin Malkeinu Efes Ulato Tu v'torato v'yedata yom Adonai hu Elohim Shamayim mimal Shal haaretz v'al haaretz Eloheinu lirot me'era b'tiferet uzecha להעביר גלולים מן הארץ והאליל קרוא יקרתון ותקין עולם במלכות שדי כל בני בשר יקראו בשמך הפנו לך כל אישי הארץ יכירו וידעו כל יושבי תבל כי לך תקרא כל ברק תשבע כל לשון לפניך אדוני אלוהינו יקראו ויפולו ועוד שמך יקראתנו קבלו כולם ליום מלכותך ותמלוך עלי לעולם ועד כי המלכות שלך היא ולעולמי עד בכבוד כך כתוב בתורתך ימלוך לעולם ועד אמר אדוני מלך על כל הארץ מהו יהיה אדוני אחד שמו אחד. We turn to page 80. Here we go. And you may be seated. On the left, Psalm 27, a psalm of David. Adonai is my light and my help. Whom shall I fear? Adonai is the strength of my life. Who shall I dread?
When evildoers draw near to slander me, when foes threaten, they stumble and fall. Though armies be arrayed against me, I have no fear. Though wars threaten, I remain steadfast in my faith.
One thing I ask of Adonai, for this I yearn, to dwell in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, to behold God's beauty, to pray in God's sanctuary.
Hiding me in his shrine, safe from peril, God will shelter me beyond the reach of disaster and raise my head high above my enemies.
I will bring God offerings with shouts of joy, singing, chanting praise to Adonai.
Adonai, hear my voice when I call. Be gracious to me and answer. It is you whom I seek, says my heart. It is your presence that I seek, Adonai.
Do not hide from me. Do not reject your servant. You have always been my help. Do not abandon me. Forsake me not, my God of deliverance.
Though my father and my mother leave me, Adonai will care for me.
Teach me your way, Adonai. Guide me on the right path to confound my oppressors.
Do not abandon me to the will of my foes, for false witnesses have risen against me, purveyors of malice and lies.
Yet I have faith that I shall surely see Adonai's goodness in the land of the living. Hope in Adonai. Be strong, take courage, and hope in Adonai.
Kavil Adonai, chazak ve'ametz livecha v'kaveh el Adonai.
In solemn testimony to the unbroken faith which links one generation to the next, we now remember those who left us with their memories. Those in mourning or observing a yahrzeit now rise to praise God's name with the words of the Mourner's Kaddish on page 52. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Bi'olma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayei chon v'yomei chon v'chayei l'chol beit Yisrael. B'agala v'zman kari v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach li'olam olomei omaya. Yitbarak v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal. Shmei d'kudsha berechu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiron bi'oma v'yimru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu yasei shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. You received all the announcements in your email. Basically, the most important thing is we're going to have Kiddush in the Sukkah. So we got to just go right over to that. Very briefly, so you can say Le'shev B'Sukkah, you can sit down, have a cookie. It's mizona. Yeah, that's right. If it's the first time, you say Shechianu. If it's the first time in a year, you say Shechianu. Okay, so let's, anything?
Yigdal, page 53.
Yep.
Yigdal Elohim chai v'yishdabach nimtza v'yehineh el metziuto.
Echad v'en yachid keyichudo ne'lam v'gam ein sof v'yakduto.
Elo demutagu v'yeinagu v'lo naroch elav gedushato.
Kadmon l'chol davar asher nivra rishon v'en rashid l'reshito.
Hino adon olam lechon ha'otzar yoreh gedulata u'malchuto.
Shefa nevuato netano, elan shesegulato v'tifarto.
Lo kam b'Yisrael gemoshe navi u'mabit et emunato.
Torat emet natan li'amo ela yad mivio ne'man beito.
Lo yachal Yifa'el v'lo yamidato li'olamim l'zulato.
Sofev yodea setarenu mabit l'sof davar v'kadmato.
Gomer le'ish chesed gimi v'alo no'odin l'rashara g'rishato.
Makets yamin meshichenu livdo keke Yeshuato.
Meitim Yechayel berov chasdo baruch adei ad shem tehilato. Meitim Yechayel berov chasdo baruch adei ad shem tehilato.
Mo'odin l'simcha, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
If you want to direct me to